Tonight, riding high.
So honeymoons last a while, but not forever.
A new poll suggests Premier Wab Kinew maintains healthy support from Manitobans. But what will it take to keep the momentum going into the new year? Also tonight, a major outage and a state of emergency. Which northern community is in the dark, and the response from Manitoba Hydro. Plus,
it was really a beautiful thing to see Winnipeg come together around this story.
Meet the young lady defying expectations and inspiring others through song.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Taylor Brock. Marilee is away. A major ongoing power outage has prompted a First Nations community in northern Manitoba to declare a state of emergency. Chief David Monius of Pimisikamak Cree Nation made the announcement on social media, saying the loss of power for the community poses a serious risk, particularly for elders and those with medical conditions. It's enacting its emergency measures, which includes opening warming shelters, requesting emergency supports, and, where needed, sending vulnerable people to homes. Manitoba Hydro says the outage began late Sunday night, saying a helicopter crew spotted the source of the outage today. The Crown Corporation says a 1,000-foot stretch of line crossing the Nelson River has gone down, and crews with specialized equipment are en route. There is currently no estimated restoration time. The Red Cross says it set up emergency accommodations and supports and is shipping heaters and generators to those who remain in the community. Now let's bring in CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady. Colleen, what are things like for folks out there tonight?
Well, there is yet another clipper that will be spreading snow, Taylor, tonight all across Manitoba, including to the First Nation, which is also known as Cross Lake. You can see here well to the south of Thompson. Now, Thompson may see 5-10 centimeters. About 5 centimeters of snow is forecast for Cross Lake tonight. As for the temperatures, well, actually in a lot of communities, including Cross Lake, the temperatures will be going up throughout the night, but not much when it comes to the Cross Lake area. It's minus 22 there right now. It should only come up to around minus 18, but when you factor in the wind chill, it will feel around minus 27 for much of the night. So some tough conditions for folks there. As for the rest of the province, I will have a look at the snow that is set to fall tonight and a look ahead, of course, to New Year's Eve and the start of the new year. But let's take a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, it's minus 19 degrees with a few clouds. With the wind chill, it feels like minus 28. Winds out of the south-southeast at 14 kilometers an hour. The pressure is dropping, and the humidity right now, Taylor, is 76%.
Thanks, Colleen. A 27-year-old man is facing charges in connection to the death of a man in the city's Weston neighborhood. 56-year-old Christopher Sean Brown was found dead at an apartment complex in the 300 block of Blake Street on December 20th. Police now say a 27-year-old man was arrested in Long Plain First Nation early on Christmas morning. He was brought to Winnipeg and turned over to the homicide unit, where he was charged with second-degree murder. It's been more than 2 years since the New Democratic Party won the provincial election, and according to new data from Probe Research, the party is still dominating in terms of support. CTV's Harrison Shin joins us now. So Harrison, how popular are the NDP right now?
Hey Taylor, the survey done for the Free Press looks at the support of political parties in Manitoba, and it looks like the New Democratic Party is about 20 percentage points ahead of the Progressive Conservatives. The NDP ranks first with 53%. PCs are in second place with 32%. Probe Research has been tracking the support rate every quarter since the 2023 election. In October of that year, the NDP and PC were separated by a 3-point gap. In December 2024, the gap widened, 53% for the NDP and 34% for the PCs. This comes after Angus Reid Institute released its approval rate tracking for Premier Wab Kinew. It shows that Kinew still holds 58% approval, although that number has dropped 9% since this time last year. I spoke with Christopher Adams, adjunct professor in political science from the University of Manitoba today. He says many people describe this as a honeymoon phase, but as 2 years has passed since the election, Adams says it won't last forever.
The NDP government has announced a very massive deficit that the probably double about what was estimated about 6 months ago. I would say that the healthcare system has not been corrected fully, that there are promises made in the election campaign 2 years ago that the healthcare sector would be repaired. Now, there has been more money plowed into it, but at the same time, still long wait times for many procedures.
Adams says in 2026, he would like to see more decorum in the legislature. The Probe research poll shows the Manitoba Liberals have 9% support. This poll was conducted between November 25th and December 10th. 1,000 Manitoba adults were randomly surveyed, and the margin of error was 3.1%.
Thanks, Harrison. Mounties are investigating after human remains were found following a house fire in the Interlake on Christmas Eve. The RCMP say officers were sent to a home in a rural area near Narcisse for a well-being check around 10 a.m. There, they found a home burned to the ground. Mounties say a neighbor told them a 69-year-old man lived there alone. Human remains have since been found in the rubble. The investigation is ongoing, but at this time, the fire is not believed to be suspicious. Separately, RCMP say the death of a woman in southern Manitoba is considered suspicious. The morning of December 24th, Mounties say they were called to a home in St. Malo for an unresponsive woman. There, they found a 55-year-old woman dead. The RCMP's Major Crime Services is investigating. Anyone with information is asked to contact St. Pierre Joly RCMP or Crime Stoppers. CN Rail continues to investigate after 10 cars derailed in Winnipeg early yesterday morning. Now, this was the scene Sunday near Winnipeg Transit's Jubilee Station in Lord Roberts. Crews could be seen using cranes to maneuver the toppled over cars. Just a short time ago, actually, CN said trains are once again moving along that section of track, but some cleanup is ongoing. According to the company, no dangerous goods, fires, injuries, or leaks were reported, and there was no threat to public safety. CN says it's still trying to figure out why it happened. On Saturday night, Winnipeg Jet fans were treated to an a cappella performance of the national anthems. 23-year-old Olivia Stedman was center stage for the second time this year. CTV's Joseph Bernacki has more on how this singer is inspiring her audiences.
Oh, Canada.
Olivia Stedman loves to sing, no matter the size of her audience.
True patriot love.
Tim Stedman was a proud dad on Saturday, watching thousands of people cheer for his daughter ahead of the Winnipeg Jets Minnesota Wild game. It's the second time she sang both anthems this year for the Jets.
I'm out on that ice with her, and I don't even have a remote fear that she's gonna make a mistake or get worried or get nervous. It's something she loves, and it makes her so incredibly happy to do it.
Stedman lives with cerebral palsy, visual impairment, and an intellectual disability. It hasn't stopped Olivia from belting out a tune with a smile.
She has an incredible memory, so singing was one of the first ways she kind of learned her words. So it was a great therapeutic option for us.
At the Movement Center of Manitoba, Olivia works on her mobility skills every week. She's been coming here since she was 5. Staff say her voice brings a smile to everyone.
The minute Olivia walks into the doors of the center, she lights up this space.
Barbara Dick Stedman, Olivia's mom, says it was a dream for her daughter to perform at the arena after years of singing in choir.
Round yon virgin mother.
CTV Winnipeg first met Olivia back in 2019 when she was singing Christmas carols at her school. Olivia works with a music therapist, learning more songs. What seemed unrealistic became reality when True North contacted the family.
We've had people say that Olivia becomes this beacon of inclusion and belonging.
For now, Olivia is keeping those vocal cords in tune ahead of her next performance.
Stand on guard for
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The holiday season is a time known for generosity and charity, and one local nonprofit is in need of some of that holiday cheer to help more vulnerable residents in the city.
So we have our mobile outreach vans on the road 24/7, 2 of them right now during the winter months. We also offer emergency shelter for people experiencing homelessness, and our shelter is located right downtown at the corner of Main and Logan, and we have 120 beds for overnight sleeping, and then we're open for daytime drop-in as well.
Those are just some of the ways Main Street Project is helping Winnipeggers in need. However, Cindy Titus with Main Street Project says they're short on donations for this time of the year. She says the center's board of directors is making personal contributions to match donations up to $20,000 for the rest of December. To find out how you can help, including how to donate, visit mainstreetproject.ca. Operation Red Nose is also putting out a call for help this holiday season. The free designated driver program says it's short about 1/3 of the volunteers needed to handle the expected call volume on New Year's Eve. The nonprofit says it's in urgent need of assistance, adding it needs an additional 60 volunteers. In 2024, the program gave just over 1,100 safe rides across Winnipeg. Those interested in helping can visit rednosewinnipeg.ca. More young girls will be able to explore the field of computer science thanks to a local nonprofit and a generous donation. While She Is True is a Winnipeg-based group trying to inspire girls to join the traditionally male-dominated technology sector. That includes offering coding camps and other computer-based learning programs. That just got a little bit easier after payroll and HR company Payworks offered up 30 refurbished laptops.
We've had many instances I was sharing earlier that where our volunteers actually have to bring in their own laptops because the students' laptops were not working. Parents often don't know what compatibility the laptops need.
This is essential to broadening the diversity of the technology pipeline across Canada. And so I challenge other organizations to get involved too, to provide older laptops that they don't have a use for anymore. They can be of huge use.
You can find out more about the programs the nonprofit offers by visiting whilesheIstrue.org. Christmas is over, and that means it's time to consider giving your Christmas tree a second life. The City of Winnipeg's 10 Less Ship-in depots are open as of Saturday, allowing residents to bring in their Christmas trees. The city is asking residents to remove all decorations, plastic bags, and tinsel. It also says to remove the tree stand and only bring real trees. The city says the trees are being turned into wood chip mulch. That mulch will be available in early January at the temporary depots and will be free for Winnipeg residents. The city is recommending residents bring their own shovel and containers for the mulch. A full list of the depots is available on the city's website. According to the city, the program began in 1991 and recycled more than 430,000 trees so far. Still to come tonight, the U.S. president turns from Ukraine peace talks to the ceasefire in Gaza. What the president had to say about next steps after hosting Israel's prime minister, and an ominous warning for Iran. That's next.
Manitoba winters can be. Imagine not having a winter coat, boots, a toque, or mitts, and stepping out into the cold. That's the reality for many kids. But you can change that. Give the gift of warmth. Donate to Coats for Kids.
Taking a look at the markets now, crude oil added $1.30. The Canadian dollar is mostly unchanged at 73 cents U.S. Gold plunged $209. The TSX lost 103 points. The Dow Jones fell 249 points, and the Nasdaq dropped 118 points. A handful of potential measles exposures to tell you about now. The first was at a Home Hardware on Lorne Drive in Morden on December 11th from 11:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. The other 3 all took place on December 20th. That was the Saturday before last. The first was at a Christmas gathering near Miami, Manitoba, as well as the Morden Friendship Center between 11 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. and the Access Event Center from 3:30 to 9 p.m. Anyone who is at those locations is asked to check their immunization records and monitor for symptoms for about 3 weeks. As we head into the new year, a new poll shows the federal Liberals and Conservatives in dead heat for voter support.
There's been a lot of movement in Quebec lately. The Bloc Québécois are now a very strong second. Liberals used to enjoy a 15-point lead in Quebec. It's now down to 4 points. Then when we look at British Columbia, the Liberals for the last few months have been leading in British Columbia by 3 or 4 or 5 or 7 points. Now it's the Conservatives who are ahead by 5. So even though the numbers look better for the Liberals here than last week, the numbers are actually more challenging because at the regional level, where the actual seats are won, the Conservatives are doing better with the vote that they've got.
According to the Liaison Tracking Survey, which polled 1,000 Canadians, the Liberals gained a single percentage point to sit at 39% support nationally. Meanwhile, the Conservatives were down by 1% to sit at 37% support. The 2-point gap falls within the poll's margin of error, which means the parties are in a statistical tie. Prime Minister Mark Carney's approval rating was 56%. Amid concerns over a fragile ceasefire in Gaza, the U.S. president this afternoon held a high-stakes meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It comes as a group of Canadian activists called for sanctions after they were denied entry into the West Bank 2 weeks ago, along with half a dozen MPs. Here's CTV's John Venevali-Rao.
Far from Donald Trump's meeting in Florida, in Gaza today, displaced Palestinians trying to survive a harsh winter offered mixed opinions about whether the meeting might amount to much. This man saying everyone's exhausted, cold, and urging the U.S. president to get his peace deal moving on to the next stage and eventually reconstruction.
Gaza's a tough place.
Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaking with reporters, saying Gaza was among 5 major subjects to be discussed. Trump said he hoped to move to phase 2 of the ceasefire plan quickly, but adding Hamas must disarm. He also suggested the U.S. would consider further military action against Iran if the country tries to rebuild its nuclear program.
Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them, but hopefully that's not happening. I heard Iran wants to make a deal.
Meanwhile, in Ottawa, a group of activists held a press conference after they were stopped by Israel at this border crossing 2 weeks ago, trying to enter the occupied West Bank from Jordan. Along with 6 MPs, the group, sponsored by the nonprofit The Canadian Muslim Vote, planned to observe conditions there, but was denied entry for what the Israeli Defense Ministry said were security reasons.
This denial of access is not an isolated incident. It is a small sample of the systematic control and intimidation that Palestinians face every single day under occupation.
The group noting that Israel's security cabinet recently approved the recognition of 19 new settlements in the West Bank, which Canada considers illegal under international law, and calling for sanctions on items that come from them.
Any settlement product that's developed and sold should be barred from Canada.
As for whether that Canadian delegation will try to go back to the West Bank, today they said they'd like to, but aren't sure what will happen next. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
U.S. President Donald Trump says Ukraine and Russia are closer than ever to a peace deal. Here in Canada, Ukrainians say they're looking for lasting peace guarantees.
Cautious optimism behind this. We do know that Ukraine has accepted pretty much every peace deal that's been on the table, and Putin has rejected pretty much every single peace deal that's been on the table. So to think that we might be closer to a negotiated peace is something that is a little bit of a surprise. We do feel that perhaps Trump needs to put more pressure on Russia because it seems like all of the concessions are one-sided coming from Ukraine.
There could be a setback. Today, Russia promised to retaliate after it said drones had targeted one of President Vladimir Putin's residences. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called the claims a lie, aimed at undermining peace talks and justifying attacks on Ukraine. The United States is pledging $2 billion for UN humanitarian aid. That figure is a fraction of what the U.S. contributed in the past. The Trump administration continues to slash foreign assistance while warning UN agencies to, quote, adapt, shrink, or die. In 2022, the U.S. contribution to UN aid work was estimated at $17 billion. Tensions are rising between China and Taiwan after Beijing launched its largest war games ever around the island. China mobilized its army, warships and fighter jets around Taiwan for live fire exercises. Taiwan's government rejects China's claims over its sovereignty and condemned the drills, calling them military intimidation. The escalation comes less than 2 weeks after the U.S. approved an $11 billion weapons sale to Taiwan. The Legislative Assembly may have wrapped up its session for the year, but that doesn't mean the Legislative Chamber has gone quiet.
We in this House, we in this chamber have a duty to protect the people.
The Youth Parliament of Manitoba started its 104th session at the legislature on Friday. Their session will sit until Tuesday. More than 90 students from areas like Winnipeg, Steinbach and St. Teresa Point will debate bills over 9 sittings until Tuesday. Participants are between 16 to 20 years old, with the majority being high school students. The program aims to help youth learn about government and public policy by debating real issues. The organization's chairperson, Charlize Medina, says students are interested in diverse areas of politics.
As youth, we care about the world that's going on around us. We are not apathetic to these global issues because we do care about our future. We want to make sure that we live in a world that accepts other people and that continues going on, just like not rife with like conflict and all that. So we want to make sure that our voice is heard and that we represent all the different ranges of like political ideologies and ideas as well.
Medina described the narrative of debates as a way to understand fellow members. She added the organization is nonpartisan but has members with various political opinions.
But she was suffering from something that I didn't understand as a kid.
What do trauma and mental health issues look like? In this upcoming Made in Manitoba film, it's a literal monster hiding beneath the floorboards. How the director's own life inspired the film when we return.
And Winnipeg's long-range forecast starts with the last day of 2025. That's Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud with a cold high of just minus 20 degrees. Now, if you're heading out for New Year's Eve, bundle up. We drop down to minus 25. Then we get to Thursday, the first day of 2026. Cloudy with the possibility of some light snow coming through, a high of minus 16 degrees. Then Friday, right through the first weekend of 2026, a mix of sun and cloud with highs getting milder and milder, or less cold, to put it that way. By the time we get to Sunday, a high of minus 12.
After a few close games, the heavily favored Canadians say they will not be looking past Denmark in tonight's game at the World Junior Hockey Championship.
Trying to slap pass it back to Leonard McKenna. Looks back across, he scored!
Canada is undefeated after its first 2 round-robin games in Minnesota. They beat Latvia on the weekend and Czechia on Boxing Day. Tonight's opponent, Denmark, has lost both of its games and was defeated 13-2 by Canada in pre-tournament action. Puck drop tonight is shortly after 7:30. In Dubai, FIFA's president defended ticket prices for next year's World Cup today, pointing to heavy demand.
In 15 days, we received 150 million ticket requests. 150 million ticket requests. So 10 million ticket requests every single day. This shows how powerful the World Cup is.
Earlier this month, fans criticized ticket prices, which can cost several times more than they did for the last World Cup. The president also insisted today that revenue from the tournament is reinvested in soccer around the world.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
And now CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady has your complete Skywatch forecast. Colleen, what are you seeing?
Well, more snow. Yet another clipper, folks, will be crossing Manitoba. Out in front of it will be some snow crossing across the province tonight. Lots of crossing happening. Even a little bit of light snow just exiting Manitoba right now, just picking up on the radar. But there's more where that came from. Next door, northwestern Ontario, the snow should start to fall in your communities before morning. And in the north, it's already been falling throughout the day, with more to come yet tonight as this clipper gets closer. Quick look again at the wind chill values we were talking about the Cross Lake area. A little further north up in Thompson, it feels like minus 28 right now. Over in Churchill, the wind chill makes it feel like minus 32. Here in the south, a bit of a mixed bag. It feels like minus 19 with the wind chill in Brandon. Here in Winnipeg, it feels colder, around minus 27. So in comes this clipper, but out in front of it, the snow. So a lot of the north, many areas forecast to see anywhere from 5 to maybe even as much as 10 centimeters. Thompson is one area that could see as much as 10 tonight, but they're not alone. Now, all throughout the night, we're certainly not alone in any part of the province with respect to the snow. Pretty much every community will see at least some of it come through tonight. But also, with the approach of this system, temperatures are going to be rising throughout the night in many communities, including well up into northern Manitoba. But look in the southwest corner here. We're going to see a flip over, likely to some freezing drizzle or some freezing rain overnight and into early Tuesday morning. So be mindful of that if you have any driving in those areas. The snow should be wrapped up for the most part in the southwest by morning. We will likely see a little bit of it continue here in the southeast as it continues in northwestern Ontario. Up in northern Manitoba, a little bit lingering on too. Now, northwestern Ontario could see 2 to 4 centimeters fall around the region tomorrow. We get into a Tuesday evening, and then another disturbance will bring another round of some snow for the most part at this point to the southwest, and then we clear right out just in time for the end of 2025, heading into New Year's Eve. So for tonight, we rise throughout the night to minus 11. That's why the asterisk is there. Temperatures rising instead of falling. That's what that means. Light snow is expected to arrive overnight as those temperatures continue to rise. South winds 15 kilometers an hour. Those winds stay put tomorrow. There is the possibility of some light snow taking you through the commute. If you have a commute to make tomorrow here in Winnipeg, minus 10 should be where we are during commute time. Up to minus 7, easily the mildest day this week. Cloudy in the afternoon, but with the passage of that low, we'll see the wind shift and they'll come out of the northwest at 70 kilometers an hour. Light snow all across Manitoba tonight. Churchill, you'll see temperatures rising to around minus 22, but Gillingham, Island Lake, snow in all those communities. Thompson drops to minus 24 overnight, and then you'll see a little bit of light snow wrapping up maybe in the morning, but you'll see some sunshine too, heading to a high of minus 21 in the afternoon. So not a big jump in temperatures, to be sure. Lynn Lake could see 5 to 10 centimeters tonight, dropping down to minus 24 there. Snow will continue the longest in Norway House, the temperature falling to minus 20 tomorrow afternoon. Light snow across the southwest tonight. Look at this, Brandon, Neepawa, all the way up to minus 3 by morning, and then the temperature really holding steady at minus 2 tomorrow. Meanwhile, Dauphin, Swan River, your temperature drops during the day to minus 12. Winnipeg in the southeast will see that snow arrive late tonight around midnight as the temperatures rise throughout the night, and then tomorrow as mild as minus 2 for Portage, Morton and Winkler. A little bit of light snow possible in the morning. It will last into the early part of the afternoon east of the city and into northwestern Ontario. Snow before morning, and it will continue throughout the day tomorrow with highs between minus 12 and minus 15 degrees. To our weather photos we go. This is a different vantage point looking south down Main Street. This was earlier today here in Winnipeg. That photo is from Crystal, a nice shot there. And enjoying the day up at Albert Beach, a great photo. That is from Abby, and you can send us your weather photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. That's Jasper, by the way, the dog.
Thanks, Colleen. What if trauma and mental health issues took on a different form, like a real-life monster waiting to attack? That's the concept behind a Métis filmmaker's latest work, which drew significant buzz at Cannes earlier this year. And CTV's Daniel Homerson got a behind-the-scenes look as Ancestral Beasts comes to life.
And action.
It's weird. It's sad. But that's just Elise.
Hey. Don't touch me.
On the surface, Ancestral Beasts is a horror flick steeped in Indigenous lore.
In this story, the disorder manifests as a physical creature lurking in the shadows.
But at its core, it's a deeply personal look at Métis filmmaker Tim Riedel's childhood.
It's actually based on my lived experience as the son of a 60s scoop survivor who later in life was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. My mom was a wonderful, wonderful person and loved really, really big, but she was suffering from something that I didn't understand as a kid.
Ancestral Beasts is Riedel's first narrative feature film. He cut his teeth working on cartoons and documentaries that took him all over the globe. But he credits a Métis elder for pushing him to share his own experience.
You always go so far away across the world to tell other people's stories. How come you never tell our stories?
He says the horror genre is a way to show the chaos and instability of his upbringing by turning it into a real monster under the floorboards of the main character's home.
The curses we inherit aren't our fault, but what we let them become is our responsibility. That's a really important message to take forward.
Riedel's hometown of Winnipeg and the rural landscape of Manitoba serve as the backdrop for the movie. And the film boasts a primarily Indigenous cast and crew, including actor Darla Contois, best known for her award-winning role in the TV series Little Bird. She says the film brings conversations about trauma to the forefront.
I think understanding more of the human experience, especially in a mental health sense, is a really great place to be.
And she says it's important for Indigenous people to tell these stories in front of and behind the camera.
Representation is really important. I think being able to see yourself in any way for anybody is very important.
Riedel adds Indigenous filmmaking is on the rise, and rightfully so.
We have such a long history of being great storytellers. In fact, that's how our history for tens of thousands of years has been shared. So give us a camera and we'll tell you some great stories. And, you know, good storytelling is good medicine.
Daniel Halmerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Ancestral Beast doesn't have a release date, but there's a good chance it could premiere at film festivals next year.
The move is the right move. I'm not pleased with the way we've rolled it out completely.
Up next, it's our year-end interview with Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham. Hear his thoughts on the massive transit overhaul and the role the city plays in helping make your life more affordable. That's when we return. Our year-end interview series continues this evening, and tonight we're hearing from Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham. CTV lead anchor Marilee Caruso sat down with the mayor recently, and there was a lot to go over, from the huge overhaul of the transit system to keeping life affordable for Winnipeggers. Here's part one of that interview.
He reopened Portage in Main to pedestrians, launched a weekly repeat offender bulletin highlighting the need for bail reform, and passed a new bylaw cracking down on where homeless encampments are allowed. 2025 was a busy year for Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham, who's already announced he plans to seek re-election next year. So as we wrap up this year and look ahead to the next, Mayor Gillingham joins us in studio to talk all about it. So nice to see you. Happy holidays.
You as well. Thank you very much, Marilee, for the opportunity. Always great to sit down with you.
Yeah, you know what? I know from the past years when we sat down like this, I know your least favorite task this time of year is hanging Christmas lights. But I don't know if you've ever shared what you look forward to over the holidays. Do you have special traditions or activities you hold dear this time of year?
Well, I'm a big Christmas fan, so the entire Christmas season, the lead up to Christmas, the post-Christmas, is something I always look forward to. And so as a family, you know, we have the blessing of a great family. We're going to get together several times throughout the holiday season here. And it's about family, and certainly, you know, as a former pastor, then anything related to the Christmas story is important to me as well. And we look forward to all aspects of it. And usually there's too much food involved, and then you like all, you know, many of us, we, you know, end up on some, you know, trying to get outside to do more exercise because we've consumed a lot of great food.
Do you cook the turkey or get up early for Boxing Day sales, or?
No, I've got up early for Boxing Day sales once, many years ago with my late father-in-law. It's a great story, but
did you get anything good?
We did. Many years ago, we stood in line to get a TV at one of those, you know, places that sells TVs. We got a great deal on it, but that was many years ago when the TVs were these big boxes. Of course, now they're all flat screen, and we laugh about it now that we stood in line for this great big behemoth of a TV.
You know, when we look back at the year that was in 2025, Winnipeg Transit's overhaul was not only a big change and undertaking for the city, but a big change for Winnipeg riders, many of whom say they're still dealing with a lot of headaches over this new system. Knowing what you know now in hindsight, was this overhaul a move you would do again? Was it the right change to make at the right time?
Yeah, I would do it again because the old system wasn't working well, and we forget, I think, that there were a lot of complaints with the old system. It just wasn't, it had roots meandering, you know, through the city, kind of snaky through the city. There's a lot of pass-ups, a lot of overcrowding. So the move is the right move. I'm not pleased with the way we've rolled it out completely, and we are making adjustments. And we said at the outset, even before you know, late June, that we went to the primary transit network, we said, look, this could be a brand new system, biggest overhaul ever. We're going to need to make adjustments as we go. And so we're making those adjustments. Like just this month, for example, we have added more buses before school because we heard from some school students and parents that they're trying to get to high school or middle school, and the bus was too full and there'd be pass ups. So we've added more buses. We're adding more late night service. We're changing the locations of some bus stops. So more to come. We're making the fixes, and we're going to keep fixing it and getting it until it, really becomes a system that we want it to be. But overall, Marilee, I'm in one way not surprised we're having to make some adjustments. I'm just not thrilled that we're having to make this many adjustments this soon.
But the adjustments will continue until
they will.
It's right.
They will. Ultimately, the new system that we have is going to be a better system overall for the future. And right now we have to make some adjustments, and we're making them. And we'll keep making the changes necessary in this new system to to deliver the kind of service that people need.
Affordability is a major burden on Winnipeggers right now. Property taxes, sewer rates, water rates, I mean, everything keeps going up on top of everything else in life. As mayor, looking to the next year, is there anything, or do you have any plans to do anything to make the affordability crisis a little less of a burden on Winnipeggers?
It's a really great question. We have made several steps, or taken several steps to maintain affordability. So right now, the property tax increase we brought in this year means that Winnipeggers still enjoy the lowest municipal property taxes of any major city in Canada. And also, our staff on the water sewer rates, they had proposed actually larger increases to water sewer to pay for the North End sewage treatment plant, which we have to fund. We as a council said those rates proposed are too high. So go back and readjust it. And what we brought in now is smaller increases, much smaller, $44, I think, for this year increase. Again, so it's still investing in that key infrastructure, which we have to build the North End treatment plant. It's not an exciting thing to talk about, Marilee, but we have to build that North End plant, but doing so in a way that really has an eye on trying to maintain affordability for Winnipeggers.
Speaking of property taxes, you have announced that you will seek re-election. Under a second term as mayor, what would property taxes look like?
Oh yeah, so there's too soon to talk about that at the right time. I'll make an informal announcement, and at the right time, somewhere down the way, a campaign platform would come out. But right now, we're focused on some of the many important files that we have started in the first 3 years of this term, and trying to get many of those move further down the road or even completed in the months remaining in this term.
Let's talk about crime, because it is a big concern, especially in the city of Winnipeg. I know both the city and province have announced additional police officers, but given the state of retail and violent crime and the concerns around it, do we need even more?
Well, we're looking at that, as you mentioned. In this year, 2026, we're adding 18 more police officers. So over the last 2 years, we'll have added, in 2 years combined, 36 police officers. We're also making investments in what's called the Safe Winnipeg Initiative, which was the Downtown Community Safety Partnership, in partnership with the Winnipeg Police Service, the Fire Paramedic Service, our Community Safety Officers, which is our transit team, really coordinating to make sure we can establish a blanket of safety in the downtown. At the outset of this, segment, you talked about the fact that I called for, with other mayors, I called for a change to the federal bail system, and the federal government announced that they were making changes. So they responded to our call as mayors to make our streets safer by keeping repeat violent offenders off our streets. So we're making some movement there as well, but we'll keep, working on the initiatives and the investments needed to give residents more confidence in public safety, and certainly businesses as well. There's more to do there. The
police chief has actually said he feels as though Winnipeg needs a 5th police station in South Winnipeg in particular. Where do you stand on that? Do you think we need another police station? Yeah, I'm very open. Police Chief Bowers is our new police chief, so I think that's an important thing to look back on in 2025. That was a really important hire. It was strategic. I was on the hiring committee, and really appreciate the leadership that Gene Bowers as our police chief is giving to the Winnipeg Police Service. I'm certainly open very much to talking to the chief about what he sees as priorities to enhance the delivery of police services in Winnipeg. So if the chief wants to have that conversation, I'm open to that conversation.
That was part one of our year-end interview with Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham. Tomorrow we'll bring you part two, where the mayor discusses his plans for a fourth emergency services branch and what might be in store for some major infrastructure projects, such as the widening of Keniston Boulevard. That's tomorrow. As 2025 comes to an end, the federal government is facing accusations of inaction by advocates for medical assistance in dying, also known as MAID. 2 years have passed since a parliamentary committee called for changing the criminal code to allow advance MAID requests from people with serious and incurable conditions that leads to incapacity. A report shared by Health Canada shows broad support for expanding MAID, but also urged safeguards be put in place. A spokesperson for the Justice Minister refused to comment. MAID accounted for about 1 in 20 deaths in 2024. This tends to be the time of year where we overdo it on the sweets and treats, but experts are urging you to be mindful of all that sugar, even outside of the holiday season. Researchers at Mount Sinai Medical School say companies tend to use health buzzwords such as made with real fruit, organic, and superfood to cover up all the added sugar. Experts say to pay close attention to the nutritional labels. The current FDA recommendation says most people should get more than 10% of their calories from added sugar. That amounts to about 50 grams per day, a bit more than 1 can of soda. Along with saturated fat and salt, excess sugar is linked to heart disease, diabetes, and other health risks.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Coster Denture Clinic.
If you're looking to ring in the new year with a bang, we've got you covered. We'll take a look at some of the festivities on tap for New Year's Eve next in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting the incredibly hip and the Stoneheads.
With a new year just around the corner, you can expect to see some bright lights in the sky during the final hours of 2025. That includes a celebration at Champlain Community Centre from 6 to 8:30 p.m., along with food, skating, and bonfires. Canada Life Centre will have an indoor fireworks celebration after the 4 p.m. Manitoba Moose game. You can also catch a 9 p.m. fireworks display at Oxford Heights Community Club. The Sage Creek Residents Association is also hosting fireworks at 9 p.m. southeast of the Sage Creek Boulevard and Boulevard Davernaz. Sorry, pardon my mutilation of that pronunciation. I will work on that for you. Assiniboine Park will also be hosting a celebration with the Forks celebrating New Year's Day. You can find a more fulsome list on our website with that spelling of that name in Sage Creek at ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. My apologies there. Hollywood wrapped up a turbulent year with big ticket sales for the latest James Cameron epic and a hit for Timothy Chalamet.
If there's something you can do.
As expected, Cameron's Avatar Fire and Ash dominated ticket sales, collecting $88 million US over the 4-day Christmas to Sunday period. Chalamet's Marty Supreme, a 50s-era ping-pong hustler, that's what the movie's about, it outdid expectations, raking in $27.1 million. That actually overtook the film analysts expected to take the second spot, Anaconda. The big screen comedy starring Jack Black and Paul Rudd collected $23.7 million. Brigitte Bardot, the French actress and animal rights activist, has died. Bardot became an international celebrity and global sex symbol in the 1950s and 60s as she starred in more than 24 films. In 1969, her features were chosen to be the model for Marianne, the national emblem of France. Bardot retired from acting in the early 1970s, turning her focus to animal rights. Bardot faced criticism in her later life for supporting far-right political parties and criticizing immigration into France.
She was probably, along with Catherine Deneuve and Gerard Depardieu, probably, and Alain Delon, there were a number of them, but probably one of the most famous figures of the 50s and 60s to come out of the French film industry. And I've got a great quote here from Charles de Gaulle, who called her the French export as important as Renault cars.
Fans laid flowers under her statue in Saint-Tropez Sunday. The statue was inaugurated in 2017 to mark Bardot's 83rd birthday. A spokesperson for her foundation says she died at her home in southern France and did not provide a cause of death. Brigitte Bardot was 91. We'll settle in for some Monday Night Football at 7. The LA Rams take on the Atlanta Falcons in NFL action. And Eat Talk wraps things up at 10:30. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Coming up, Good Riddance Day in New York. How residents recently celebrated the departure of unwanted memories.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Well, the temperatures are rising, so the highest temperature is the current one, -18. As you take a look at the rest of the almanac, I want to take another run at that, Taylor. Those fireworks in Sage Creek, 9 p.m. on Wednesday, southeast of Sage Creek Boulevard and Boulevard des Hivernants. So there you go. Thank you. Mild round of applause, not really deserved. But nonetheless, as we head into Tuesday, we'll see some snow overnight. It will taper off tomorrow morning. -20 the last day of the year, -25 to ring in 2026, the overnight low. -16 degrees on Thursday with the possibility of a little bit of light snow.
Thanks, Colleen. Well, New Yorkers and tourists gathered in Times Square to mark the 19th annual Good Riddance Day.
I'm saying goodbye to self-doubt, limiting myself, all the haters, and anything.
It was organized by the Times Square Alliance and One Times Square. Co-organizers of the city's New Year's Eve celebration is asking people to write down bad memories or thoughts from the past year and tearing them up to signify a fresh start for the new year. Wonder how long you have to write them down.
I don't know. Depends how long that list is, I guess.
Time you're writing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 11:30.